We don't have cat cam tonight, but if Sophie comes to the door, that might change. So last time was a particularly fun stream for me. The most significant thing, obviously, is that it was the stream in which I have learned to trust Disco Elysium. I've had a few points where I've been like, okay, I will put a little bit more faith in it, or I'll feel a little bit more comfortable, or I have a slightly better sense now of what I can expect from here. But this was a pretty big one, and people have kind of asked, like, why is it that you are so hesitant to trust this game? What is it, like, why are you not just taking it at face value? And part of it is because I have received a number of warnings about playing this game, so I have kind of built it up in my head. As I mean, you heard my whole thing about like, am I going to be able to make it through this game, or is it going to be too heavy for me? Because people have been trying to help me watch out for myself, which I appreciate. I've kind of had to kind of like construct mentally like a support system internally to withstand potentially emotionally difficult, not like emotionally like painful, because like there were moments in Horizon Zero Dawn that were like gutting, but there was nothing in it that was like emotionally dangerous for me, if that makes sense. Like, I love to be taken on an emotional journey that is hard and heavy and painful and makes me feel really really powerful feelings. Like, I love that very much. But there's a degree of personal safety separate from that, that some content topics can go outside of Lauren living vicariously through the emotional experience of a fictional story and start getting into something that can actually genuinely affect the mental health of the real actual Lauren. And because I know that this game has heavier content, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect from like the tone or the approach or the presentation or the philosophy of it, there's a possibility. All right, boys. This is gonna happen literally every stream, isn't it? No, I have been approaching this with caution. That if I had come into this game with absolutely no context, I might not have done that. And there is something to be said for coming to an experience without knowing anything about it and not reading into it your whatever baggage you personally are bringing to the story, like your expectations of it and that sort of thing. Like, oh my god, they're still going. I feel like they're doing it more now than they did when we first started this. Are they getting more experience? Am I gonna get a body health point because my friendship health points are going up? I don't know. No, I was saying something. I got distracted by the boys being friends. Annette is probably, I mean, she's probably looking at her book, but like, like she's got her book, but plausible deniability. I'm absolutely not watching the weirdos that are hanging out and meddling in my affairs. No, like, I do like to try to bring an open mind and a lack of expectation to games as much as possible. Like, that's part of why I tell people, please don't tell me a lot about things. Fortunately, I remember, or I forget and don't always recall a lot of the things that I do kind of pick up on. But in this case, because there was a concern about the effect this game might have on the real actual Lauren, I came to it with additional expectations and my own, like, baggage isn't the right word, but I had a structure, a protective structure in place to approach this game. I think I'm actually going to be able to take some of that down. I'm still going to leave some of it up because there may be the risk of content that will be itself emotionally interesting and moving and powerful, but also potentially damaging to the real Lauren. And I know that that's a possibility in this game. But I think that I'm not worried that this game itself is going to accidentally damage me, if that makes sense. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you sticking with me through this. Because it's early on in a game, you kind of have to learn. Most games, you figure out the mechanics as you go, or you get a mechanics tutorial. Ideally, you get a mechanics tutorial and kind of figure it out as you go. In this game, you don't have a tutorial much at all. Like there is a little tiny bit of occasionally like the little like I'm going to explain how this works lady shows up, but generally speaking, because you're supposed to share Ocelot's confusion and disorientation, you have to figure it out as you go. The ceiling fan is the tutorial boss. Yes, in a way, learning by doing in an NES sort of way, which is to say you die a lot and that's how you learn not to do it again. NES, or like a Sierra adventure game. My childhood right there. No, but like it's really important and valuable to have tutorials. I think that they serve an important role. In this case, they want to deliver a particular emotional experience that having a tutorial holding your hand would change. And because the mechanics of the game, this game is not really played with traditional interacting with things there's no twitch mechanics, there's no like puzzle to solve in a traditional sense, there's no jumping on things or shooting guys, or I mean I know that there's guns because like they've told me about guns, but it's not like you have to like level up in like shooting dudes as a thing that you do, like as in a lot of isometric RPGs, for example. And so oh look, Kim's taking notes in his little notebook. You see it? You see that? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it because it's really small on your screen, but it's big on my screen. He just pulled out his little notebook and wrote it down. But there's not gameplay in we have to teach you what the buttons do kind of way. So instead, the mechanics that you're learning are what your skills are and how they work, but also how the world works and how your character reacts to things and what it means to pick different dialogue options. What happens in this world if I give the clown shoes answers? What happens in this world if I give the fascist answers? That's actually learning the mechanics of the game. Now, because of the kind of player I am, I'm probably not going to pick clown shoes most of the time, and I'm not going to pick the fascist answer. But I have to kind of learn how to calibrate my interactions with things. Most games do not give you the level of control over your interactions with characters to accomplish the way that I would if I were playing an actual tabletop game. This game, because the entirety of it pretty much is words and interactions with characters, actually does come as close, I think, as any game possibly could. And so now I've learned that I can make some assumptions, that I can follow my gut more comfortably, and the game and I will probably most likely be in alignment there. Yeah, well, I already know that having 1 health means that I might die easily. That has been established. So we're probably going to die a lot. And that's fine. I'm all right with that until I figure out what to do about that. That is part of a puzzle that we're going to have to solve, with my character being what he is. If I go up there and challenge Measurehead to a duel, I can't soak a single blow from Measurehead. I'm pretty positive about it because I have 1 health. But we could see what happens. We could go up there and see what happens and then load our save. That might be interesting. That's the thing I might do. But the rest of it, like, do let me figure out. I will die. It is okay. That is the thing that I want people, that's the thing that I want people to understand. Because most of the time when people say things like that, they're trying to prevent me from being in a difficult, challenging, frustrating situation, or have my character die, or have something like, it's fine. I've already accepted that that's going to happen. I hope that you can all accept that that's going to happen, and we'll figure it out as we go. So please don't feel that you need to explain trivial or basic stuff like that to me. If I don't get it right, then we can potentially have wacky, hilarious how did Ocelot die this time? We can do like a final, or a final, let's see, a King's Quest 6 death scene compilation. Although I think actually King's Quest 5 has the best death scene compilations, but 6 has the little rhymes. After you die, you go to the land of the dead. Hey, hey, what a fix! Bathing in the river Styx. You died. Don't go in the river Styx. In King's Quest 6, it won't end well. Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I'm excited. Yes. Yeah. So there may be an element of Sierra mode that I think is what I set my character up to be, because he has no health. There is literally no wiggle room when it comes to physical safety. Thank you, Noel Girl. Well, I feel like I can manage this game, because it turns out that this game and I have some things in common philosophically. And in the way that we interpret human nature and the way that we interpret people's individual psychology, it seems like for the most part we've been reasonably in alignment. I know this because I'm able to come to conclusions that the game then confirms, reading into what people are saying or doing or thinking or where they're coming from. I'm picking up things, and then the game is like, yes, that's right, those things are happening. So that tells me we're in alignment, which means that I feel I'm pretty well equipped skill wise, because part of this is going to be Lauren's skills, not just Ocelot's skills. That's why Ocelot has Lauren's skills. Sort of. So yeah, I'm not necessarily, I don't know that there's anything for me to summarize about what I took away emotionally from these characters, other than like what we went in great detail about last time. But I'm really delighted to have had this moment, to have had these very interesting characters in my life. And I'm really interested in what's going on here with this curse, and the culture of her kind of like warding off the evil eye protection, her amulet that she's got, which matches the amulet over here. Even though she tells her daughter that the curse is bunk, she still has things to ward off the curse around her shop, which tells me, if she's the one who set those things up, that she's trying to avoid worrying her child about all the possible things that could go wrong, but she does take them seriously, which is interesting. Tells me a little bit about her as a person. Now, it's also possible, because I gotta overanalyze things with absolutely nothing to stand on. It's also possible that somebody else put that thing on the curtain here, and somebody else gave her the pendant and said, wear this for luck. And it could just be that she is doing so, but somebody else is the one who is superstitious. But given that we know how she feels in general about kind of magical thinking, sort of woo-woo type mindsets, it does seem in keeping with her character to be superstitious and to believe in the power of amulets like that. So I'm inclined to think that she actually has done that. Which does actually, I like that about her. That is one attribute that I do like, the fact that she has told her daughter not to worry about it, even if she herself is worried about it. Just one little real world comment thing here, and then we'll actually step outside and figure out what we're going to do next. A lot of times, like, life can be uncertain and unsure. But as a parent, as much as possible, I think you should shield your child from having to be scared of those things. Like, you can let your kid know that there are things going on, but I think by and large, the kid shouldn't need to worry about the ground being taken out from under their feet. Like, I think as the adult in the situation, it is your responsibility to carry that and find other adults to carry that with you. But generally speaking, that is not a healthy or fair burden to place on a child. So that is a point in her favor. And we do know that she loves her kid. She's definitely got some issues, and I'm wondering if we're going to be able to return here and have their story progress. So maybe I'll pop by in future days and see what's going on, because I suspect that whatever the deal is, there's something underneath there. Whatever the deal is with her husband, I don't think this is the last we've heard of it. So I'm I'm curious to see how my meddling is going to go in the future. Oh my gosh. No, do not combine poor Kim with Cedric the Owl. Somebody else can be Cedric the Owl. All right. So I'm going to go outside now, but I really like this section of the game. Oh, pick dialogue. I don't know what is going on with my technology. If OBS has been having issues for other people too, then I'm going to blame OBS for this. I do like OBS, but this has happened every Disco Elysium stream we've had so far. And I have not been encountering this with Paper Mario, no. All right. Well, fortunately for me, I have just been sitting here listening to that. So that's fine. I can handle this. So we've got some options on where to go and what to do next. And I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. There was an idea that I had and I've promptly forgotten what it was. Hello Z-Fox, welcome. Listen, boy, I don't start trouble, I fix it. I'm gonna have to gather those things. What is that? Have I looked? What is? Oh, no, those are the things. We read about the creation of that stuff. Oh, when it died, I was commenting on dialogue options. Oh, it had the loading screen. It was just saying if you can choose hold on or wait, and it will let you get more information before moving on the conversation. So presumably, okay. I'm gonna walk around a bit because I'm not quite sure where I want to go next. Look at that. Some interesting architectural design here. Thank you. Well, I'm glad. I'm very glad to hear that there's some folks who've been watching the Night in the Woods stream, because that game was really personally meaningful to me in a different way, I think, than it was for a lot of people. But I mean, it would make me sad to think of it just kind of fading away. To not ever share some of our ridiculous inside jokes and interesting experiences. I've been thinking about making shorts that are based on the clips that people have made over the years from my streams. So if something happens that you think is particularly funny or interesting and you clip it, try to give it a title so I know why you clipped it. 'Cause sometimes I can tell, sometimes I can't. But maybe I'll make a thing out of it. So, so we'll see. We'll see. But it would just, you know, like if you do make clips of things, I do watch them. All right. So I'm gonna wander around a bit and look at some things because I wasn't planning on going to the bookstore so early, but I'm really glad I did, and now I'm wondering what else is waiting for me here. What is this? A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. Cormorant, that's a bird. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And actually, I think if you're saying it the verb form, I think it should be surveys the sea. Let's see. All right. I don't think I've been up this way before. No, because there's things I haven't clicked on. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what things... Oh, that means I can open it or take it. That has a talk button. I'm not sure what these mean. I'll figure it out. All right, so this is a machinery.
Hey,
oh, no.
here,
Rue de Saint-Ghislain. This is telling us where the streets are. Cape Side Apartments. Somebody's trying to talk to me. What we got here? Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair,
yeah, you better
and the
keep
tools used
walking.
to disassemble it. She's got the same kind of accent as that lady, one of the ladies who was hanging around with Measurehead. Interesting. It's an interesting accent. I can't place it. There's a girl up there. Did she spill the paint? Huh.
Look at me when I'm talking to you.
A West End London accent, thank you. Who is she? Who is she talking to? She's not talking to me. She's looking that way, I think. Hold on, we're gonna look at some things some more. Okay. Looks like there was more construction here once, decades ago. Man, and I think that the construction on Texas highways is bad. But decades is usually pushing it, even for 635. All right. Yeah, the decay even of the construction in progress is really, it really tells so much. Honestly, like all of like the visuals and the music and everything come together so well to convey this like I wonder if we're ever going to get a chance to see what this place looked like before the mosaics fell apart, before the paint peeled and the pillars crumbled. What did it look like when it was full of hope and promise? I hope we'll get a chance to see. Also, Kim is totally clipping through the wall here. Oh, man. Well, how's this? 635 was under construction before I learned to drive, and it was still under construction after I learned to drive. Oh, man. And even now when I go back to visit my family, I'm always curious what the 635-75 intersection is going to look like now. You never know for sure. All right. Let's see what's here. Yeah, I guess the wall's not going to say no to Kim. Look at his shadow. His shadow's down here. He got stuck. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A. So, residents of this apartment complex can park their boats here. Oh, look, there's a person. All right. Hold on. Your room in the Whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in all your life. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like, and this guy looks a bit fancy, and the boat is actually very well maintained. So many of the things that we see here are falling apart with that boat. Please do not make observations about people on the boat. Please do not make observations about people or things that I haven't looked at or interacted with yet. Don't tell me things about the game that I haven't already experienced. Let me figure it out. I know it's slow. It's gonna be slow. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. I didn't see anything that anybody had said about the person on the boat. Just commenting on the cost of the boat. Let's see. I want to see what is in here. Is this a dumpster? Am I going to dumpster dive? Kim's not going to approve of this. Let's see what happens. Oh, the dumpster. Sorry, Kim.
Hey, up here, piggo.
Is she talking to me? I feel like there's somebody here that there was a talk button here, and I don't know what this is. So I want to take a look and see what this is. But she could be talking to someone else up there. Wait. Where are you going, Ocelot? Money. Magnesium. Oh, it's the children. Okay. Nobody's looking. I guess I'll take your magnesium. And see what else is going on around here. Okay. A garden hose. This won't be of use until the snow melts. Right. Oh, that makes sense. In cold climates, you can't use a hose if your hose is going to be freezing, is it? Huh.
Can't get involved in this.
All right. There's a whole bunch of people with problems here that I can, Chairs and table eaten by rain and rot. I am going to meddle so much in everyone's lives. I hope you were prepared. Another splattering of bullet holes on this wall. Great. Good. Fantastic. Wonderful. All right. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. Why, though? Okay, that's up there, so I can't. Okay, what's this? Oh, these are things that I could see. So the body's just over. Yeah, the body's just over there. Let's not look over there. These barrels are half full of rainwater. So they must be doing... That looks like a coat. Do I go into the cellar? I probably shouldn't go into the cellar. I can't get up there, so I can't comment on that. Over here, there's a thing right here. Yeah, can I click on this one? A balcony with a view to the yard. And the hanging. Oh, hello. Thank you, Ocelot. That makes perfect sense, actually. I guess I have to go and investigate. I'll go talk to that guy. Can I talk to this guy from down here? I don't know how else to get up there.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Okay, yeah, so the people up there are noticing me. Okay. All right. Smoker on the balcony with a very skeleton-shaped face. It's the lines here and the way the mouth is shaped. I don't think that's an accident. I think that the art is meant to be reminiscent of that and feel. All right.
Not looking for any trouble, officer,
He says in a quiet voice. Despite the cold, his shirt hangs unbuttoned on his frame. Oh no. He sounds like electrochemistry might have something to say to this fellow. Oh my god, let's look at these answers here. Okay. I can say, why are you whispering? It sounds like you're already in trouble. Or, no trouble for me. I just want to know what's going on here. Or, too late, young man. Trouble's found you. Or I can say, I'll come back to this later. Well. I would rather be up there talking to him because if I'm shouting from down here, the kids are going to eavesdrop. So I'm going to say no trouble for me. I just want to know what's going on here.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Okay. Yes, that's cops. Yeah.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
I like that your visual calculus is like, wait a minute, because that was an observation that I could already make. Let's see. I do want to talk to him. I don't know anything about him. If I push him, he's probably gonna get closed off. But I do really want to talk to him. Well, you know, it'll make Kim proud. So we'll take the chance and say that I really need to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
He asks you, adjusting his shirt.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
I want to know his name and know more about him. I don't want him to shut down. But hopefully they'll let me ask both questions. Okay, so I'm going to ask, can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
That is not a real name. What was the last thing you folks heard? That's not a real... No, that is not a real name. This man is giving me... this man is giving me a pseudonym. Or a stage name. It's possible it's a stage name rather than a pseudonym. Or something along those lines. So we'll find out. But that is fun. That is fun. I wonder if you can get him to trust you enough to tell you his real, like, actual real name. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm sorry. We'll see what the technology keeps doing, but I'll do my best.
That's definitely not his real name.
Thank you, Rhetoric. I'm glad to know we're on the same page. Oh, good. I can press him about his fake name. I'm glad to know that Ocelot and I are on the same page about this. Oh, there are a lot of things I don't want to be on the same page with Ocelot about. But when it comes to like reading people and trying to be observant, probably pretty good. Maybe like as far as like life skills and not being a complete and utter fuck up.
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice?
He scans the courtyard. It's silent like the bottom of a well. Every sound captured and reflected back. Okay, yeah. No, I need to talk to him later. All right.
Ask him again.
Whatever, authority. No. I think I need to not be here to talk to him. Because he does not want them to come after him for telling the cops what's up. I don't want to endanger a potential source. Man, like I want to have information, but he makes a very good point. And the fact that the description of the area makes sure to let us know that everything that he says will be heard. I just don't feel like this is a safe place or way to interrogate him. I think I'll have to be able to get him later. Well, the thing is, we don't know, well, I don't know what kind of cops, like what the standard is for cops in this world. I don't know what Ocelot is normally like as a cop. I don't know what other cops are normally like in his context or from his precinct, other than to know that they like swagger around like they own the place because they're RPG heroes. I mean, authority is a jerk, and I'm just not gonna listen to anything he says. Take that. Sorry. Basically, if authority tells me to do something, I'm gonna do the exact opposite. I'm sorry. I am what I am. What I am. And what I am is contrary as hell. You can't tell me what to do. You'll notice when my other skills tell me to do something, I will do it, but I don't want to do it when authority says so. I think that it would be better to talk later. I'm going to make this decision to talk later. This may cut me out from ever talking to Martinez, Johnny New York. But I'm going to assume that there are more days, and I will see if I can find him. And if I don't get him in trouble here, things might turn out better for him and potentially for me. So we're going to do this. I know I want this information. I know authority, but I'm asking him to yell down a balcony where there's an audience about a murder that happened in this neighborhood that might have to do with the politics and interpersonal conflicts of the region who might be listening in. So no, I don't want him to be the next body hanging from a tree. I mean, he's not going to be, but you know what I mean? So I'm gonna choose this. I'm gonna say we'll talk later.
No. We won't.
Okay, all right.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Okay, I'll convince him to stay. I'm probably not going to succeed this. Let's see how this goes.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains.
This is literally exactly where I was going with this. This is exactly what I wanted this game to do. Look at this! We're on the same page. I'm so pleased with this. All right. So I can say, hey, listen, and then lower my voice. I'm just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else? This is exactly what I want. So now if he shuts me down, I will still be satisfied because I tried doing the thing that I think is right. And if you try doing the thing that you think is the right course of action and it fails, it's still way more satisfying. So yeah, take that, authority. I don't need to listen to you. All right. Thank you, suggestion.
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion, and a hint of understanding.
Okay, even if I never see this guy again, I'm very, very satisfied with this.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
His voice is soft and deliberate. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the cigarette butt sailing over the rail. His voice is soft and deliberate. Okay. I actually think he's telling the truth here.
But, hold on. What's that?
Wait.
For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door.
See, once again, trying to be compassionate and understanding and thinking about how things will affect other people instead of just stomping forward to get what you need. It's a much better way to handle things. This is good. This is good. This guy is smooth and he gets it. He actually knows. Because I showed compassion and humanity. I didn't just say, I'm a cop, give me what I want. I'm trying to fix something. Obviously something's wrong. There is a dead body hanging right there. It's pretty horrific. All right. This is very interesting. A stone placed right next to the front door. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to get up there, but I'll have to figure that out. Like, what kind of intrigue is happening here? I don't know. All right. I'm satisfied with this. I actually wasn't expecting him to give me anything, but I was expecting to just be satisfied with the fact that we'd had this moment of connection, but the fact that he's actually going to help me out here. That's nice to know. I'd rather make my allies and gather my information, genuinely trying to do the right thing, consider people's safety, and want the world to be better. It may not lead to the result as quickly, but it'll do less damage in the process. So going to do that.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. All right, suggestion.
Good luck with the investigation.
He walks away. Oh! Okay, so I got a task. I have to figure out how to get up there. Thanks, sir. Martin Martinez. Well, that's interesting and good. I wonder if Kim picked up on that.
He's gone.
The lieutenant puts away his notebook and turns to you. We should run after him, see where he went, and this is clown shoes. I wonder whether Ocelot's clown shoes are a self-defense mechanism. I suspect they are.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
This dialogue doesn't seem to fit the fact that he gave me a sign. I wonder if this dialogue happens regardless. But at least we have something up there that we can do. So we can either say, so we just give up, or you're right, he probably didn't have anything important to say anyway. We're obviously not going to say that. So one, and Kim will be like, well, no, he signaled something else. We should probably act on that. So I'm going to say one, so we just give up, showing I don't want to give up.
He could be a witness. We shouldn't rule out the possibility.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Kim.
He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there.
The lieutenant nods towards a small rock on a soggy patch of grass.
If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Great, let's do that. Okay, good. I'm not going to get this man killed. Hopefully. Okay, so this is the rock. So it's not up there. It's this rock right here.
A stone like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Oh, why would I ignore it? Probably timing. I don't know. I'm going to turn it over.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
Thank you, sir. Wow. Okay, I would have guessed a key under a rock, but that didn't seem like something they would do. This is like that seems too obvious. I don't know. But yeah, keeping the emergency key under a rock is such an old one. That is very nice of him and very, very trusting. So I'm glad he believed me. Thank you, sir.
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments, and the man can be in any of them.
Oh, so he wants me to come in and talk to him in privacy. Okay, so he does actually want to talk to me. Okay. I thought he was just like letting me get in there to get information. Maybe I wasn't sure. Okay, he's setting up a meeting. All right, that's good. So how are we going to find the right one? By investigating. We are detectives, after all.
We'll just have to go in and see.
Okay, I'll put the stone back. Okay. Well, that's exciting. That's so exciting. I don't know that I'm going to try everyone's door. All right. What is this? Did I already look in here? What is this? An orange bum hat. Gives you more reaction speed, but it takes away your rhetoric. Well, I don't know if we're going to have problems with inventory space. But I can always work on that. I can sell these things maybe? Okay, hold on, let's see. Clothes. Orange bum hat. An orange beanie with a couple of big ass holes on the side. It looks like it might have been used as a mask during an armed robbery. Feeling twitchy, but a bum brain. Good to know. All right. Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I'm never taking my current hat off. My hat is a symbol of friendship, and it's remaining on my head forever. All right. Let's get a reality lowdown. Perhaps try rich people. Rich people are educated. Oh, there's that rich person on the boat. We go talk to the rich person on the boat. Smoker on the balcony. You met a mysterious stranger smoking on the balcony of the apartment building north of Martinez. He knows something about the murder. Find out where he lives and question him again. So we'll ask around for his apartment number. I'm gonna have to pretend I have some other reason. What if I took off my coat and put on a different outfit? Like, for example, if I took this right here. What is that sound I'm hearing? So I can put on a coat that isn't my detective coat. Okay. Yeah, that's that I can't do. All right. And if I go clambering on the rooftops, people will probably get suspicious. Or something. Okay, well, before we go inside, we will go inside. Don't worry, we'll do that. But we're going to wander around outside a bit more. All right. Oh, this, like, really strange brokenness of things because they weren't even fully finished. Ah, the music. It's so pretty. I like it. I feel like she's looking forward. That's why I was surprised. Maybe I'll try calling to her from here. So she sounds like she's shouting.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier. She's got really interesting eye makeup. All right. So are you our Cassandra here? I guess the streets will flow red once more. You did dump that paint. Are you going to tell us that a great violence is coming?
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
Kim does not have any patience for this.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
I guess maybe the skull. She's got the shading, the eyeshadow perhaps, to look like the sockets in a skull. Haha. So I can either say, we just want to know your name, little lady. No need to get defensive. Patronizing. Don't use that tone with me. I am the law. No, thanks, authority. Go sit in timeout. Let's start with your blood type and go from there, which sounds like it could be hitting on her, which is super inappropriate. Hep, yeah, when were you last tested? Which just no. Or just answer some questions, okay? I don't like any of these answers. I don't like any of them. Like, if let's start with your blood type and go from there is joking. Like, I think that could be funny. And she is talking about blood. But I'm just worried about it being a grossly, like, I don't know. Like, to me, like, she's joking. And that could be, sure, I'm joking back. Actually, that feels like that might not be a bad... I think that might not be a bad choice. We'll see what happens. If it gets real uncomfortable, we'll backpedal. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take it jokingly, as this girl is joking about blood and she offered. So yeah, let's start with your blood type and go from there. In fact, in some cultures, blood type is a way of kind of guessing personality types and things like that. It's another kind of magical thinking way of kind of like astrology. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's hope that they intended this as a joke. I don't know.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
No, Kim, that's not what I meant. I'm joking.
Listen to your partner, pig man.
Okay.
Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside. Okay, so maybe she actually thought that was funny. I don't know. Okay, so I can say, you keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at? Or, what are you doing to the wall? Or, do you know anything about the recent murder? I'm going to ask her what she's doing to the wall. And then I'll ask her what she's looking at. Well, I have no reason. Well, no, let's start with that. Let's see what happens. We're going to go with number 2.
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit.
Aereo graffitio. It's aero graffito, I think. I don't see an... Oh, that's fine. It's fine.
I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
She studies the wall, suddenly pensive. So I can say, so you don't know what to write? Or, why are you so committed to defacing the building? Or, I have an opinion on this, want to hear it. She doesn't. I'm gonna go with, so you don't know what to write. She's probably gonna take all of these badly, but she's also keeping talking to me. I think the kind of rude that I'm being is fine with her.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here.
I wonder why graffiti is... Oh, because graffiti is plural and graffito is singular? Is that why this is happening this way, I wonder? These are the important questions.
We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
Yeah, I did wonder what the presence of cops in this area is. So now we know that we don't come here that often. All right. She's actually opening up. She's actually giving me like pretty. These are pretty genuine answers. Like we're actually having a conversation here. I'm actually pretty impressed.
She wants it to be something true and total.
Yeah, no, well, she's the thing is, she's not just talking. She's not just snarking. She's actually opening up. Like, this is something that matters to her. So I'm going to ask, why are you so committed to defacing the building? Let's see how this goes.
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium.
I mean, there was a brutal murder just around the corner, but you know, all right. I like her. I do actually like her. she's pretty. She seems pretty harmless, relatively speaking. She seems like she's mostly joking and trying to express herself and looking for meaning in the world. I can respect that.
I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a world-sized invitation.
Who do you think is going to see it from the sky and crash land and cause chaos in your neighborhood? So she must be feeling hopeless without any like, I mean, at least she's not so desperate. Like, she has the time to do this sort of thing, and she doesn't have major life-threatening concerns that would distract her from this, I think. But there is this feeling of going nowhere and having no options and being trapped that we've been feeling very strongly. I mean, they've literally closed all of the exits to this area, in case we didn't yet have the emotional closed offness and closed roads. You know, it's, I don't know. I can feel her kind of like quiet despair and desperation. People in small country towns will have problems where nothing happens around here, and they will start getting into trouble just to kill the boredom because they've got nothing else to do. And that boredom, like a little bit of boredom, is good for you, because being able to entertain yourself and be with your own company and tolerate your own company and your own presence, that's really healthy to be able to do. But too much boredom is really not good. Like, people will harm themselves just to have change, just to have something, just to feel something, just to have something happen. They will do a thing that is a terrible idea if they're bored enough. So, all right. I have an opinion on this one. Hear it. She's going to be like, not really, but then she's going to open up and let me say it. I suspect she's going to, she wants to hear what I have to say, but she's got to make sure that I know that she doesn't care.
Yeah?
Oh, wait, no, she straight up wants to hear it. I can say, I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing, or I'm going to have to stop you. This is hooliganism. Oh my god, I'm delighted. I told you about my favorite graffiti and like the entire everything, right? My favorite bit of graffiti that I've ever seen is the sign, not the sign, just there's a big planter that just has hooligans written on it in my neighborhood, and it's delightful. Canadian hooligans. They're the worst, clearly. And then actually I don't have an opinion. I lied is a really funny answer, yes. Honestly, like, I feel like this is a culture that valued public art at some point. That's why we have so many unnecessary tiled murals, just extensive, incredibly intricate, complicated, must have taken a lot of effort to make, with no material benefit whatsoever. There's no reason to put a beautiful mural on the ground. In fact, the ground is like the worst place to put a mural. It's so impractical. And yet they have a number of them around. So public art, I think, was at one point valued in this community. I think, too, is funny, and if I could say it as a joke, I would choose it because I think it's hilarious. 3 is like a non-answer. I'm gonna support her public art, and Kim might get mad, but like, honestly, well, okay. So Inland Empire. Wouldn't it be funny though if there actually are chaos spirits in this world, since I don't know for sure that there aren't actually supernatural elements? Because other characters have shown beliefs in that I may not want to take seriously, but I may take seriously. And the language around them is slightly different than what I expect, indicating that there is the possibility that supernatural elements exist. In which case, if she were to paint something that invited in agents, supernatural agents of chaos, and they actually show up, we could all be in so much trouble. This idea popped into my head and I'm like, no, that's dumb. Because of a lifetime of people being like, those little out there ideas that pop into your head like that, they're really stupid. Don't say them. We're going to laugh at you if you say them. So you stop saying them. And to a large degree, you stop thinking them too, which is really a shame. Because it's not always something that you necessarily take fully seriously. But it's a thought that you entertain. It's a little piece of your imagination that's not being crushed down by practicality and social expectations. You know? Like, children say the darndest things, you know, and I certainly said my share of things that just had my mom staring at me in, like, befuddlement. And I think that one of the very sad things about having something in you snuffed out is that if you don't stop to think about it, you can find yourself snuffing it out in other people as well, because you're just repeating what's been told to you. That's ridiculous. That's silly. Don't say that. Instead of remembering how much it hurt to be laughed at, and how you feel more complete when you allow yourself to play again and to pretend again, even playing pretend in public with yourself and your friends. Maybe the better course of action is to recognize where that urge comes from, and fight the urge to snuff it out in other people. And maybe that's one small step in reclaiming it for yourself and enriching your own inner life. However, Inland Empire, I'm still not going to let you ruin Ocelot's life, if I can help it. That is actually something that I've been mulling over, is why do I react to Inland Empire the way I do when it is so apparent that Inland Empire is something that is so very near and dear to my heart and who I am as a person. And I'm so much happier with myself when I can just say the dumb stuff that pops into my head. And in fact, hey, sorry, total derailment here. We were talking earlier that these are kind of like vlogs as much as they are like Let's Plays. Here's a thing on the subject of Inland Empire and my reaction to it. So like, I have no sense of humor. I don't like comedy. Things don't make me laugh. I don't joke around. Never. No. And I went through a big chunk of my life like that. And not making jokes, not even trying to be funny, because I'm not funny. I don't do humor. I don't do comedy. I don't do anything. At some point in the past, like 6-7 years or so, I mean, largely since I set off on this whole journey of self-discovery that tends to follow divorces and things like that. So I had actually lost touch with a couple of friends that I was close to during like the beginning of that time period, and then reconnected with them a couple of years later, or a couple of years ago rather. And in that period, I also made a lot of new friends. And one of my defining characteristics among my closer friends came to be known for my weird sense of humor. Not like weird as in weird, but like just saying absurd things, like some absurdity and leading into it, saying it like seriously, like you mean it. or just weird. I don't know. Mostly absurd, playful, pretend things. Like, yes, of course, this exaggeration to an extreme. Let's play along. Is my sense of humor. And so some of the friends that I've met in this more recent era of my life think about this as one of my defining characteristics. And it's like a sign of intimacy and trust for me when I can joke around with somebody because I went so long feeling like I couldn't do it. And I remember reconnecting with an older friend who I'd lost touch with for some of the growth and transition period. And she was commenting I mean, I don't dislike this, but where did it come from? And I'm like, well, it's always been there. It just hasn't been on the outside. Interesting stuff. Anyway, that's a tangent. Back to Cindy. There's things to think about here, about like how we grow and how we mold and shape ourselves, and how the people who harm us when we're younger in efforts perhaps to protect us from the world, we then perpetuate the same things to the world and in ourselves. We learn to cut them out of ourselves so that other people don't have to cut them out of us, because it hurts less that way. But then eventually we don't need to cut them out at all, and yet we still keep doing it. All that to say the dumb, silly things that you think are funny, and you'll find other people who agree. And that's really, I don't know, that's important. Cindy the Skull. All right. I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to have to stop you. This is hooliganism. If that could be like a playful, joking answer, that feels like the right answer, the answer that I like here. Although maybe I don't have an opinion. Maybe I should encourage her opinion. Like, what matters here, honestly, none of it has to do with what I say or what I want. All right, we're going to go back to overthinking what to do with Cindy here. All right, so the problem with number one is that it doesn't sound sincere. The phrasing of that first sentence makes it sound insincere and patronizing. I love public art. Like, if it were to be like, you've got every right to express yourself, don't mind us, keep doing what you're doing, that would be obviously the answer I would want to take. But I love public art. Like, there's just something very juvenile and overly simplistic about it. But I'm gonna have to stop you. This is hooliganism. It's really, that's goofy. And not having an opinion, I think she'll make fun of me. Be like, you should stand up for something. You should believe in something. She should believe in something. What she's saying should be something that's important. I know, Chrono. I know. And unfortunately, one of the challenges with games that are that give you the ability to pick dialogue options is that you can't necessarily read the tone that they intend. So I don't always know what to expect or how people are going to react, because I'll be like, oh, clearly this is a joke. And then it'll be like, no, that's deathly serious. What do I believe in? Honestly, I think when you do graffiti, you should consider the people who are affected by it and what you want to do and why you're doing it, and weigh those and let that be a consideration. You know, if you put graffiti and some poor minimum wage worker is going to have to go clean it up and get yelled at by their boss for not cleaning it up well enough, you have to consider the consequences of that. If you are feeling hopeless and desperate in a world where you don't matter, and putting your name on a wall, the name that you have chosen for yourself to express your true inner self, putting that on the wall in as many places as you can, is the way that you can say to the world, I matter, I'm here. That's important too. Those are then become the two things that you're weighing, and make your calculation accordingly. So that's for better or for worse, that is your Lauren has overly thought it through That is my opinion on graffiti. If you are in a place that is hopeless and sad and empty of, I don't know, if your intent is to put up something that will move other people, whether you want to put beauty in a place that lacks beauty, or you want to make people open their eyes when they'd rather not, like that also has value. So I did sing The Best Is Yet to Come. That is correct. Not the like actual game version, but I do sing that with my band The Returners. So if you've seen that on YouTube, that's me. I can even sing part of it at some point, but I'll spare you my bad Gaelic. I've been told that my accent isn't terrible, and I will take it. Yeah. But the thing is, I love public art sarcastic. I love public art sincere. I don't think she'll take my sincerity seriously. I think she'll think I'm an idiot if that's the case, honestly. Because public art isn't what she's trying to do anyway. Hooliganism is what she wants. She wants havoc. She wants to summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation. Like, I wonder if me accusing her of hooliganism in doing this is going to encourage her in some way. Because I want her to, what I'm hoping will accomplish here is to, I'm hoping that we'll help push her to figure out what it is that she wants to say. Yes, Serna, that's why I say like there's value in that. So like consider the consequences of you doing that, but also there is value even in putting your name on a wall. So I don't know if what she wants is acknowledgement or not. I haven't figured out exactly what it is that she wants. She's young. And again, because I don't have all of the pieces of what the nuance of these responses. I don't know. Sorry, I'm thinking through this. Yeah, because the thing is, like, 2 could be a joke or 2 could be authority, and as has been clearly established by now, there may come a time as I play through this game in which I am in agreement with authority. I will be very concerned if that happens. You'll be like, who are you? What have you done with the real Lauren? I don't know if she's trying to do visual signs of crime, cause more crime. There's already... Actually, if you look at this, it does actually look like there is graffiti on the walls that has been painted over. You can still see the graffiti through the paint, but that's what this is right here. Here and here. That's somebody marked on the wall with a dark paint that is hard to get rid of, maybe a marker even. And somebody else tried to cover it up, but their paint wasn't opaque enough to cover it, or at least not to cover it for long, and it started fading. This looks like this is the pigs thing right here. Oh, you can't see the mouse pointer? Oh. Okay, well, here. Right here. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I didn't realize that it, because I hadn't selected this window. So let's see. Right, but if I manage my position of authority properly and don't act like a cop, I can get through to people. Having authority over people is a responsibility that you should take seriously. I don't want to hurt her. She wants to do something true and total. Is that why she was saying something that sounded like it was trying to be a poetic prophecy when I first ran into her? Has she been considering what she wants to paint? And in her frustration, she just flung a bunch of red. Let's see. Actually, no. I don't have an opinion. I lied. This should be about you, honey. This has nothing to do with me.
Lying is cool, I guess.
She absentmindedly paints a red streak on her left cheek. Alright, so it turns out that being non-committal is she actually doesn't know what she wants to do. I can support her finding the purplest prose. Let's see, maybe if I talk to her a little bit more, I'll get a better sense of how to respond there. You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms.
She nods disdainfully towards the woman performing maintenance on the boat dock next to the pier. Oh, that's a lady there. Okay. Performing maintenance. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely not the same line that was read. But I'll totally believe Kim being like, why are you asking her this? Okay, so she doesn't approve of this person.
Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features.
She's not a fan, alright. Is it that you hate the wealth on display? Is it something about this individual? Is it somebody with this much wealth when the rest of you don't have anything?
The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
Oh, that is a fancy lady. That is a very fancy lady. Look at that. You can tell. They've done a very good job of making her fit an archetype in her design. I already have an expectation of what her voice is going to sound like. However, I'm supposed to go ask rich people to help me better understand the world, apparently. So perhaps I will go ask her. Joyce Messier. Or Messier. If I don't like her. No, alright.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
What does Ozon mean here?
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershot. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
I'm so glad that I asked a question and Encyclopedia was here to help. Amazing. Okay, so that's why she's got a boat. Oh, okay. So the archipelagos. So really, this is a world that has a lot of archipelagos. I wonder then if we've had global warming and we're kind of in water world, so to speak. But that's interesting because I wasn't sure. Like, I'm still figuring out how the world works. It's very confusing. Hopefully Ocelot won't become Kevin Costner. That would be very confusing. So there are places in this world that are posh. Okay. And places 2 days travel. That is interesting. That is not how we measure distance in our contemporary world. You can say it takes X number of days to drive there, or it takes X number of hours to fly there. But you don't talk about 2 days travel. So I assume that what that means, because it doesn't specify, then I guess maybe we don't have planes, really. Which would make sense. If you don't have a large amount of open space, it would be a lot harder to get something up in the air. And so that's really interesting. Because in our modern society we have multiple ways of describing, like, we have multiple methods of transporting ourselves across the world and within regions. So if you want to say how far away is it, people will sometimes say, X number of miles or kilometers, or like, it's a 3-hour drive. It's a 6-hour bus ride. It's a 3-hour flight, something like that. And people will tend to default towards driving distance times, in my experience, if you're in like the same landmass. And if it's not in the same landmass, then they'll tell you kind of how long the flight is. This does not. This just says 2 days travel, indicating that there's only, okay, I'm gonna read into everything here. This is what I do. Indicating that there's only one. Okay, maybe that's an American thing. In that case, it's also a Canadian thing. Maybe in Europe, where countries are smaller and closer together, it's different. But in that case, you wouldn't be saying that something was days away, because it doesn't take days to travel. Okay, maybe a North American thing. Okay, I'll take that. But either way, I would say that saying it's 2 days travel is equivalent to saying it's 3 hours travel, instead of telling me how many miles or kilometers it is. So regardless of whether other places in the world measure in terms of hours, the measurement that we're being given here is a measurement of time to convey distance. So it is comparable to the systems that I'm used to, where you use time to express distance as well. But there's only one method of transportation given if there is an assumption that it's going to be 2 days travel. Furthermore, like, if you're road tripping it, that becomes way more complicated. If you're on a train, it could be 2 days, but somebody would say 2 days by train. If you fly, like, it's not going to take 2 days to fly somewhere. So, like, that means that not only did she's on a boat, so she probably came here on the boat. That is a good assumption to make, that she probably came here on boat. But the way that the narrator doesn't specify 2 days travel by boat indicates to me that boat is the default assumption, and therefore planes are not really an alternative. Yeah, and what like I was saying, like, if you don't have a lot of space, then it is hard, like, logistically challenging to put in airstrips and have planes. So it makes sense. It's not surprising. I'm not like, gosh, who could have seen that coming? I'm more kind of overanalyzing things to try to figure things out. Because the thing is, like, isolation and disconnection, because those are not necessarily interchangeable. Well, how's this? If you want to watch somebody not read into every little thing that pops up in a game, this is probably not the playthrough for you. As I've said from the beginning, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I want to do, and I recognize it's not for everybody. But if it's something that you're going to find frustrating or not enjoyable, then this is probably not going to be a good playthrough for you to watch. So I'll just say that straight up. But yeah, like, something that's so clearly, apparently, thematically central to this game is this feeling of isolation and disconnection. And if the only means of reaching other locations is boat, like, that is really telling, because of all the means of travel, boat travel is probably the most isolating option we have, the most isolating terrestrial option that we have, because airplanes are so fast. You can, like, go across, like, halfway across the world in one plane ride, less than 24 hours, and you'll get someplace, and there'll be more people, and you'll have that experience. And you'll see below you, you'll see settlements. You'll see signs of life and humanity. You will fly past reminders that other people outside of the people who are on the plane with you exist in the world. Also, they tend to have more people on them, and thereby they're kind of inherently less lonely. Whereas, and like when you're driving, you are, I mean, even if you're driving in the countryside, you know, it can be very lonely. I have lived in the countryside. I have had to drive, you know, hours to get to significant places. But you're going to pass signs of life on the way. You're going to pass small towns. Like, I've driven through the countryside. There are places in the US where you can drive probably for hours and barely see anything, but you will see some things. You will see some signs of life. You will see other cars on the road. You will have rest stops. You'll have to stop to get gas. And for the most part, if you're not like extremely in the countryside like that, you're going to oh, we got raided. I'm sorry. I'm kind of on a tear here. Please forgive me as I continue ranting a little bit. But thank you, Envy Jules, for the raid. So but like, and like when you train travel again, it's a faster means of transportation. There are other people who are there with you. There are other people, like you reach your destination and you'll pass by signs of life. When you're on a boat, it feels very slow. You spend a great deal of time with no visual cue that you are making progress, and almost nothing that you encounter along the way for days, literally days. And especially like a boat like this is a small boat. So it's not like this is like a giant cruiser where you're going to have company. Like, you might have a small number of people with you, but generally speaking, just think about how incredibly inherently lonely a means of transportation that is. And if that's the default way to get between the islands, the archipelago, there's a lot of loneliness involved, even in trying to connect to other people. So there you go. This is why you gotta sit and listen when I decide that I'm gonna overanalyze every last little thing in the game. Because I mean, I don't know for sure. We're still very early on. Like, maybe at some point they'll be like, yeah, so we take boats everywhere. It's really lonely. People in this world are lonely. Like, maybe they'll tell me that. I don't know. But at least thus far, they haven't really indicated that they're going to straight up tell me a lot of things. But they put a lot there. That paints the feel of the world if you look into it. So here we go. That's that. I think that's really interesting. And isn't it a fun example of rhetoric at work, that I can read so much into the very specific phrasing of 2 days travel with 2 days travel with no additional context. That's pretty neat. That is some solid world building, but also the fact that they don't have to say, I mean, they could actually probably get away with saying more and it wouldn't be too bad, but an archipelago 2 days travel by boat from Revachol, that's the way most people travel. Like, they could tell us that, but they don't, but they do, you know? Clever. It is a very deliberate word choice that sounds extremely natural in the world that it's in. But by that being the very natural thing for the world that it's in, that tells us about the world that it's in. It's neat. It's neat. Writers, are you taking notes? Man. All right. I'm going to get back to the game and ask, who is she? And look, I'm here to overly dig into everything. And that doesn't mean that digging into everything the way that I'm doing it is the right way to do it, or that I'm always correct, or that it's not super slow and eye-rollingly whatever. This is what we're doing. This is how I roll. Who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing.
I forgot about that. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh, no wonder this is not going to go well. Oh, no wonder this is, oh, that's bad. I didn't, you know, I kind of assumed the Wild Pines rep would be somewhat closer to the people here. Obviously not from their community, but not so disconnected. So that's interesting. Interesting. All right. All right. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. I will put my rhetoric against her rhetoric and hope that my observance, my observational skills are able to pick up on small, subtle things, and then Ocelot and I can overanalyze them and tell Kim about it afterwards, and he'll be like,
You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it, Kim! I wanted to actually write a little tiny snippet of fanfic for this game that is just my perception of what Kim's perception of their dynamic is. But I wouldn't know what to call the man, and I wouldn't be able to put it up on AO3 because I'd have to tag the man, and that would probably be a spoiler. But I have a very strong idea in my head of what their dynamic is, of Ocelot being this combination of clown shoes, extraordinarily observant and compassionate, and Kim sitting back and watching as the combination of those two things picks apart an opening in the person, and then Kim goes in. It's very interesting. I like that. So, yeah, no, I will not be going on to AO3. I was wandering through AO3 and I saw something pop up with Disco Elysium and I noped out of that page. I was just like, nope. No spoilers. Well, it's good to know. Clown shoes. Kim wants clown shoes against her. This is good. I'm glad we're able to strategize in advance by not going over there. But this, honestly, like, the combination of unexpected clown shoes and unexpected compassion both do a very good job of disarming people. Depending on the situation, different ones are appropriate. But it really does seem to be working. And so Kim is right here. I like that wacky is his word for clown shoes. That's good. That's excellent.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to her zon.
Yeah. But see, this girl hearing us talk like this is going to make her feel more like we are not her enemy, and I like that. The more that people here know that we are not their enemy, hopefully the more cooperative they'll be, and hopefully the better we'll be able to do for these people. What are you doing to the wall? Oh, I want to be able to, like, save and try and answer, and then if it's the wrong answer, go back. And that's not how I'm choosing to play this game. Oh, no! I'm gonna have to actually make a choice, though. Like, I feel like if I say you're a hooligan for doing this, that might be what she needs to motivate her to do it. I don't know. And also maybe that if I say, this is great, public art is fantastic, you should do it, she'll be like, well, now I don't even want to anymore. Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna save Scum. I'm gonna try to give this my playthrough. There will probably be at least one exception to the rule where I say no, I'm loading. That's probably just gonna happen. But for the most part, I'm gonna try to live the game that I play. I want to pick an option here. I don't know what to do. Like, I think she'll take it better if I call her a hooligan than if I encourage her. But I'm not sure. I know. I just gotta figure out. I gotta actually, like, commit. Because I now know that I can go back and pick a different. I can pick a different option. I gotta actually do it. What do I do? I'm being so indecisive. Because that feels like that's like they've all got like the informational ones, and then they've got the one question that if you go down that line of conversation, you can get to know them better, and that's where you unlock experience points from getting to know them better. This seems to be a pattern anyway. I have not unlocked everybody's experience point conversation topics, but nah, Cindy, I don't know. I'm gonna ask her if she knows anything about the recent murder while I'm indecisive.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
Oh my god, Kim, are you complimenting her? Oh my god. I mean, she is actually fairly calm. It's funny because she's like saying these like really like kind of hateful things, but she's actually being relatively approachable.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
She doesn't like it. All right.
Can't you tell? I'm paid. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried? We rarely see.
She wants it to be something true and total.
Yeah?
I don't like either of these options. No, it probably doesn't actually matter. There's no actual consequence. Something true and total. This one, I don't think she's gonna, like, I'm not gonna die, so it's not a boss battle, but for Lauren, I'm feeling stressed. What am I gonna pick? What am I gonna pick? What am I gonna pick? I could always come back later. I could always come back later. I just... It's also possible that there would be a better answer if I just had the right knowledge or skill or dice roll or equipment or something. She's definitely better than Metrohead. No, that is absolutely true. Cindy the Skull. I can always talk to her again, I think. Yeah, no.
Lying is cool, I guess.
Yeah, just like she has just a complete non-response to that. That's clearly not, like, you're supposed to say something there. I know I have no real power over her. I just want to help this girl. I want to help her figure out what it is that she wants to say. Because I think knowing what she wants to write in the graffiti will actually be significant to her in some way. The fact that she can't even think of what she wants to write it's really sad to me. So... like, I want her to just write the vandalism that's in her heart. And I feel like I could either motivate her to do it by making her mad at me. She's not going to respond well to either answer. That's true. We're both struggling to decide what to say. She really wants something meaningful. And it's because she wants something true and total, and neither one of those answers will do that. And I feel like I'm not doing her justice. So I'm going to leave.
Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
See, she's got really quite an impressive vocabulary. And I think that she could write something that is really powerful, and I would like for her to be able to do that. Speaking of boss fights, like, I want to go and do some more investigation. Okay, hold on. Let me... It's the wrong button. Is it here? Quests. Okay. What is this? Oh, that's right. We still need to go to Kim's car. Ah, okay, yes, that's right. I forgot. There's still this. Report your badge missing, yeah. Pay for damages. Ask your station for additional funds. Made the call. Oh, call Sylvia using Kim's shortwave to ask whether she made the call. All right. Oh, officer profiling complete. Locate halogen watermarks. RCM. And I don't have a map. RCM. So these are things I could do again. Pain threshold medium. Ah! Sorry, hold on. I'm not quite sure. Do I click down? How do I do this? I'm not quite sure what to do here. Oh, well, we'll just scroll down like this. I don't have a mouse wheel. I have a touchpad. Okay, map wall. Interfacing challenging. So that's stealing it. Measure head. Conceptualization. Formidable. That's not going to happen. No, this has happened like before. It has a hard time with these. Pile of clothes. I don't remember. Legendary. Yeah, I could go back to Sealang if I wanted to, but... Okay. Oh, you can just walk around. Look at me walking around. I'm gonna steer Ocelot really badly. Do we go talk to the company rep? Or do we continue on? We're gonna walk around a bit more. Let's see. Did I ever talk to this guy? Can you talk to this guy? I don't think I did. All right. Oh no, he doesn't have anything to say. Okay. Can I take it? Okay. I got a plastic bag. Now I can start gathering. Did I talk to that person up there? I'm trying to remember. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if it hasn't been the most exciting stream, but I do what I do. So. Oh, hold on. What did you had an observation, sir. Where was your observation? Why did it? How do you get something like that to trigger again? Did I fail the quick time event? Ah. Okay.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Huh. That's interesting. So I can either observe first, or I can invite Kim. I'm gonna invite Kim.
Where?
Point to the chips in the wall. Someone has been shot. We're cops. We should solve it. Probably this is gonna be me being silly, and I probably should have looked first. And he's gonna tell me that I should think before I.
There? Those are old.
What do you mean old?
These bullets were fired during the revolution,
Okay.
over half a century ago. They do not warrant investigation.
I could have actually picked the option. Sorry, I'm not reading the choices that I'm being given here. I should have picked the one where I said, oh, during the revolution, because I actually am listening to and learning and remembering these things. So what can you tell me about the revolution?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
That's interesting. I feel like I missed a thing, but that's okay. This person looks like they've got a delivery uniform of some sort on. Let's see, what do you have to say?
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
What are you doing? This person has a very fancy uniform looking outfit. Alright, Rene Arnoux?
Rene, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
The other one is eating a big sandwich. Oh, he looks so happy. Oh my god. With a man with a fork in a world of soup. Nothing will ever make you happy. Sorry, I'm going to say Rene with my accent like that.
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
I'm going to observe them first, just to get a sense for them, but they're clearly married.
See? Your munching and complaining have ruined my concentration.
The man throws a metal ball toward a smaller wooden ball in the sand, missing it by a meter.
Ah, mon Dieu. The pain in my back is unbearable. I can't even say if it's in my back or hip anymore. Feels like it's in both.
He tries to measure the throw. Ah, that's why he's got the measuring tape. Okay.
I hope you pass out from it. You goddamn jellyfish. Men like you are the reason this nation is sinking.
Standing tall and proud, he looks at his partner with disgust. I don't know how literally to take sinking here, so we'll put a pin in that for now.
Trying to throw something as close to a predetermined point as possible. Measuring. This must be the age-old game of petanque.
Petanque. Thank you for pronouncing that for me, sir. I have never heard of petanque. I am not... Oh, you get a -1 for knowing that it's petanque. That's hilarious. Okay, so it does exist in the real world. Alright, I'm not surprised that I don't know things. I'm not going to get involved with the game. I would definitely not show them how it's done. Also, grabbing the ball is really rude. I should probably change out of my gardener's gloves at some point. All right, a moment of your time, fellows.
You're such a wuss.
The musical instrument is making fun of me. Amazing.
Sure, officer. I am Rene Arnoux, and my specially abled partner here is Gaston Martin. How can we help you?
The man in the uniform stands before you tall and proud. I knew it was a uniform. All right. So I can say, do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard whirling in rags? Or you seem to be playing in a crater. I want to ask about that. That actually is a good observation. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. This must have been destroyed during the revolution.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
I'm going to say, do you know what created it?
I do. Fire from heavy artillery.
Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why? Because of the revolution, my friend.
Why what?
Why was heavy artillery used?
Because that's what happens when communists hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Alright, so he's on the side of... Well, he's very much on one side. Alright. Let's ask, who are the communards again? Let's figure this out. And yes, heavy ordnance indeed, but he's very military in nature. The fact that he stands, it makes a point of describing how straight and tall he stands, and he is still wearing a uniform, so he is presumably an older former military man, which would check out with his attachment to the proper order of things and his opposition to somebody with a different philosophy coming in and you know, murdering the people in charge and trying to do something else. So let us hear who are the communards again. He's probably going to get annoyed with me.
Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality.
Carabinier. Ocelot, how do you know he's a carabinier? I don't even know what a carabinier means. But I'll ask if you did this. Okay, so what's funny here is that these are not synonymous philosophies. Amazing. Because what I'm wondering here is if Ocelot has, on some subconscious level, recognized the man's suit, the man's uniform, and figured out who and what he is, or if that is a little slipped flag or slipped description, because when I ask, did you use artillery fire against them, we will find out that he did, and that will explain his uniform and also make him a carabinier. Oh, man. My grandfathers would have been even more in opposition to one another than that, actually. All right. So here we have somebody who just hates them. Senseless sentimentality is such an interesting thing to say. They chose a name to feel special. Did they call themselves the communards? Because that does not sound like a name that they would have called themselves. So what did they call themselves to feel special? All right. 1. Did you use artillery fire against them?
Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked.
He adds, squeezing a bowl in his fist. Okay. So it sounds like a civil war was happening here. And as a result, foreigners came in and took advantage of the lack of stability and beat them all down. That's my guess anyway.
Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
Okay, so suzerain, again, that's a word that I don't know, but that sounds contextually like that is somebody, it could be a military leader, it could be a king leader of some sort like that. So, suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. It is very hard for me to take any of that seriously as anything but the kind of thing that people, rumors that people spread and misunderstandings and, you know, like the dehumanization of your opposition. So... That is a very interesting, specific direction, though. Suicide sex cult propaganda. I do wonder what the reality of it is. I hope I assume we'll eventually kind of unravel some of that. So this guy is a royalist, presumably. Interesting.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
You don't say. Thanks, Logic. All right. Why shell them here in Martinez?
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first.
Does the beachhead mean that this is the place that, like, you have to enter? I'm gonna ask the beachhead.
Yes. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachel.
Because we don't have planes. So we're gonna use... So an amphibious landing, though, that's interesting. Because amphibious vehicles are those that can go from the water onto land, which in a world with a massive, like, presence of water, where the dominant form of transportation is by boat across the water, like, it would make sense that amphibious vehicles would be an important part of warfare. Like, I mean, you can't easily bring people via plane. That's usually just for bombs. But if you're bringing people in to take over, then you would definitely want to be able to carry people. And so amphibious transportation, not only do you bring them here and drop them off, but also, like, you then drive onto land with the vehicle. Like, that's really interesting. Hi, this is my first playthrough. I don't know anything. I try to know as little as possible. If you look down there, I'm super trying to, like, not learn any sort of outside explanations or information about anything. So I like to speculate wildly, pick things apart, overanalyze, like, literally everything. And so it's been great fun, and I ask, if you are here for the first time, that you please respect that as best you can. If I say things that are really, really off base and you're just like, what? That's part of the fun. Yeah, no, I've tried really hard to avoid spoiling. In fact, I have I have a Discord server, and I have a channel there where folks can go and yell together about spoiler related stuff that I don't see, and that helps quash the temptation to spoil or backseat. Yeah, I call the main character Ocelot, as in Revolver Ocelot from from Metal Gear Solid, because at a first glance, that was just a connection that I made, and we don't have any other name for him, so that's the name he goes by. Well, the name that I call him. So I'm trying to figure out. So Revachol had been taken, like was actually under the control of the. You can't have communists and anarchists. I think those two are actually not compatible. I might be mistaken. I am not a political scientist, but I'm pretty sure those two are mutually exclusive philosophies. I think because I guess anarcho-communism. I guess maybe so. Maybe, I don't know. That's really not my area of expertise. But it seems like a very self-contradicting philosophy, you know? So I don't know what to actually call them, because the only name I have for them is a slur from somebody who's in opposition to them. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that they can't get along, but if you're going to have a movement, there's going to be something that the movement is like. Basically, I'm looking for, and do not tell me, but I am absent. I do not have an umbrella term to refer to the people who the loyalists wanted to take, or the I don't know, the monarchists. I'll call them monarchists because it seems like this fellow has referenced some sort of monarch-esque leader. And then he's referred to the opposing side. I mean, maybe they're just anti-capitalists, and that's something we have in common, which would be interesting to have monarchists versus anti-capitalists. I don't know. But I'm curious to see, because I don't actually know, and this man is not going to be able to tell me what the shared philosophy behind the umbrella movement that took over Revachol and then was under attack. Anyway, I just like the fact that they have amphibious military technology, because I'm sure that such a thing exists in our real world. I'm sure it does, but it's not super common. And I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the world, if we are in a particular section of the world that is very heavily water based, that is all islands, all archipelagos, like, I feel like I mean, it would make sense if amphibious vehicles and amphibious vehicular warfare is the norm in an archipelago and island dominated location. But I wonder whether the outsiders from the rest of the world, for example, are able to like drop bombs from above because they have planes. And you know, maybe they can't land here if we don't have landing strips. But maybe that doesn't stop them from raining death on us. So we'll probably find out more about this as we go. But I'm trying to piece things together, and I'm trying to pull out the pieces that I see, because partly because I'm tired, partly because I'm having brain issues. I'm having a harder time holding things in my head and necessarily seeing these things. It says an amphibious landing. I'm assuming that it's an amphibious vehicle, because I thought that D-Day they brought them on boat and then they came onto the land. Again, I'm not a historian, so if that's frequently referred to as an amphibious landing, then I could be completely mistaken here. Like I said, there's areas that I like. There's fields that I have expertise in, and that will be fun. For example, on the rhetoric side of things, I think I'm doing pretty well. When it comes to history, I won't know that as well. Well, it's very definitely a D-Day style attack that they're describing here. But given that everything seems to be primarily boats and then we've got car type things, like, I don't know. To me, amphibious means that it's got to be both like in the water and then coming out of the water. I guess the alternative would be we sat out on our boats and we shot them from a distance. So, should I put my build numbers somewhere on the screen? Would that be helpful? I guess you folks remember what it is, so. Yes, signature empathy. I have created a meddler who overanalyzes everything because that's who I am, and this way I'm less likely to get frustrated. Oh, man. Okay.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations.
All right. I'm sorry, sir.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in '08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
Oh, the Delta. They had a really, really, really interesting word choice to describe the Delta when we looked at the map in the bookstore. Operation Deathblow. Oh, man. That is really interesting because I'm so used to the, like, American urge to try to sound heroic as much as possible. In Operation Deathblow, it sounds decisive. But it has a nuance to it that is different than what I'm used to, things like that being named. And so, it's, to me, that's interesting because it's a different culture with different priorities and different intents behind their military. So. Deathblow sounds grim. I can nod thoughtfully and turn to look northeast. I'm going to do that because if I say Deathblow sounds grim, this man's going to be really mad because he thinks that the Deathblow would be awesome because he's on the side of the Deathblow and we're going to secure a decisive victory against those traitors. And it's his Operation Deathblow, so he thinks it's great, not grim. Probably. I don't know for sure.
This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Okay. This is really interesting. Is my character a people pleaser? That is a complicated question to answer. I think it's better to say that I am playing him in a way that is comfortable for me, which means using manipulation skills to try to make other people happy, but it's not quite the same as being a people pleaser. I'm a meddler. Yes, very much a meddler. Getting involved with things. And trying to read the situation to figure out how to push things around to try to get a better situation for everybody. It went really well for Plaisance and her daughter, actually. We brought her daughter in from the cold, and I have a sweet hat as a result. Oh, man. Okay, so Coalition, if I remember correctly from what I've heard, the Coalition is actually basically, I guess the UN. They're the outsiders who've unified to take down the thing that they didn't like that was happening here. And the rabid dogs that got taken down must be this man's enemies. So the anti-capitalists. Yes, I abolished child labor, something like that. The world could use more of that.
Blood ground. You got old Rene going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
I really want to know more about the Coalition. These men, I mean, they're not going to think highly. The old man's not going to think anything of me anyway. So I want to have a better understanding of this. I'm trying to get information. Is that why everything is so bombed out? I want to know about the coalition, but I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to ask about some of the rest of these things. But I want to know who the coalition is. And the old man will tell me what he thinks of them. Let's see, so I'm going to say, hold on, the coalition?
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So the way I'm asking these questions is in such a way that's not indicating that I don't know anything. I'm just prompting him to talk about topics. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, they do have a cue at the beginning of it. The loading screen tip that we saw that one time that my OBS crashed. All right. I'm going to say... So I can either say, is that why everything is so bombed out? Or, that explains all the war damage. What is the difference there? Why are those the two answers that I have? Or the two things that I can say? I can either express... I can act like I know what it is. Or I can ask him. What would the reason be? I'm gonna try to seem confident and say, that explains all the war damage.
Damn right, son. They let the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
There's a strange gleam in his eyes. Huh. Okay.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
There really is something to be said for maintaining the destruction to remind somebody, we did this to you and we can do it to you again.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still all influence.
Oh, interesting. Okay. When he says it's your own fault, who is he talking to? Who is he talking about? I guess he's saying that the loyalists, the royalists, never forced the anti-capitalists, socialists, if that's what they are, if that's the more accurate description of them, to give up. They just got completely taken over. Because it's interesting because, like, I've been trying to figure out what the experiment was that the coalition wanted to stop so badly. And just kind of piecing things together a little bit. If we've got the socialists and we've got the monarchists, and the socialists take over and are like, we're going to try to build a world, like we're going to build a nation that follows our philosophies and our ideals. It would be very historically accurate and in keeping with our real world, for there to, obviously there would be an opposition group. What I would anticipate, like what I would expect for like the equivalent situation in the real world, in our world, would be that the U.S., the UN, somebody, the U.S. would be providing support, kind of like unofficially, like to the monarchists to try to help weaken the because repeatedly they would be there, and again this is me going into history that I don't have expertise in, but you'd have a lot of there'd be a lot of countries that would try to set up governments that were in some way socialist, in some way communist, and then the US would intervene, usually by giving guns to the opposition side. And this was like, ostensibly power play to keep the balance during the Cold War. But I think it, I don't know. So in this case, like, obviously we're using different language. We're not in our world, at least not as we know it. But that seems very in keeping. And then afterwards, though, they come in and sweep in. And so I wonder if we'll find out that the coalition did, in fact, provide arms or technology or money or some sort of support to the monarchists, and then turned on them both and just came in and blew the whole place up. Basically was like, we'll give them guns so that they can weaken the folks that we most want out of power. And then we'll go and beat them all up. It's a very efficient and effective thing to do. It works, unfortunately. It's interesting looking between these two men at their designs and their temperaments and their manners of speaking. They kind of come across as an old married couple. Like, they have that dynamic. But we have our retired military man, and we have this other man who looks much more like everyday, down to earth. Like, honestly, he looks like a gardener or something like that to me. And he has a very... He's definitely not a monarchist, because when he says it's your own damn fault, he's talking to the monarchist about the monarchists. I think you guys messed up. But then who's the we? The coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. The party never surrendered. Which he's not using a slur, so he's at least somewhat sympathetic towards them, if not actually actively, formally a member of that organization. We'll figure it out.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players of the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think?
Interesting. So because I haven't completely let myself look like a fool here, this man has been able to talk himself into thinking that I know what he's talking about. I've asked leading questions or played along with the things he said or done to create the illusion that I know what is going on, while he provides all the information that I don't have. I mean, slur maybe isn't quite the right word. But referring to communards, just that sounds like a somewhat derogatory or dismissive term. I don't know if that's actually what they call themselves. If it is, we'll find out. But it sounds like a derogatory, dismissive term. We'll find out. We'll find out if somebody besides this man says it. But it is interesting, the opposition between these two, because one of them is so obviously more sympathetic than the other, just inherently. And I think most of us are probably not inclined to side with monarchists anyway. But it is interesting what characters are constructed to be sympathetic. And this is not... I think there's going to be nuance and development in most of the cast. But for example, the man that I'm fairly certain is a military plant up by the scab leader. I don't know how much sympathy we'll eventually wind up having for him. I don't know if he's going to be humanized, which would be really interesting, actually, because it seems like part of what they want to do with this game and their writing is to have a lot of nuance and show the depth and complexity of human nature and human history and so on. So to have people who we can just point at and say those are bad guys, it feels like that's unnecessarily like to me that feels like that kind of becomes simplistic. But at the same time, there are people who, even if they have smaller humanity to them, even as somebody who tries to approach people with compassion and understanding as often as I can bring myself to do so, there are people who even, like, I mean, little bits of humanity can make them more interesting and can remind me that there should always be a limit in the things that, you know, my own anger and expression of anger, for example. But I still feel pretty confident in saying that they come out like between like good and bad. Like, I don't think that there are people really, I think that the number of people you could actually describe as like evil is very, very, very slim. But I think that people can do enough bad things and have enough like and lack compassion and empathy to such an extreme degree that it's a very small difference between what they are and just being an evil villain. So anyway, so that's a bit of a tangent, but I do kind of wonder, like, this man, like, he's not a bad person. He's humanized, but it's very, to me, it seems very clear who we're supposed to, we the player are meant to sympathize with, or at least to find sympathetic if we're thinking about the situation and not just going in full clown shoes. It is funny, this man has convinced himself that I am not the mess that I am. All right, so let's continue.
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Thank you, Rhetoric. So, all right, Rhetoric and I are friends. When Rhetoric and Suggestion start talking to me, like, I would say those are the two that I listen to the most. Because Empathy, I have to think through what's actually going on there. All right, Magus has redeemed Stretch. Everybody, arms over your head. Also, please forgive if there are words that are in French, and I do not say them Frenchly. To one side and to the other side. Okay, so I can say that's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard working class to take over. Or, foreign powers cleaned up our mess and now they rule us. Shake your head in shame. Or, this coalition seems quite capable, actually. Or, commies just don't understand how money works. Or, nothing. I don't think. I just do. Honestly, I have no idea what Ocelot's political leanings are. One is allied with, like, one is basically, I believe that would be socialism, communism, that side of things. And 4 is the opposite side. That would be siding with the old man. The capitalism answer. I suppose that's a better way of saying it. 3 is being a traitor to siding with the foreigners. Well, there is going to be a writer bias, and there are things, and this is part of why I was talking about like the portrayal of these characters, and like these two in particular, and also certain other characters that we've encountered or that we're going to encounter. The writers of this game have a bias. They have a way that they view the world, and there are stories that people want to tell in which there are no villains and neither side is wrong. And those can be really interesting. And they can be very morally complex. But there are downsides to both sidesing things. And I think it is totally all right as a person creating a story to allow your own values and beliefs and interests drive the way that you write, instead of trying to write something that is neutral. If you're creating a story, it ought to be something you're passionate about. It ought to be something you care about, that is important to you. And if that's the case, why not put what matters most to you into it? It's fine if you're making something that's just meant to be for fun, but if what you're trying to do is tell a story that's really significant to you in some way, explore the things you care about. Say the thing you want to that you want to say, that you like, scream the change into the world that you want to see. And for me, I think that's really the only way to go. I think that if you try to remove bias, you remove character, and you no longer have anything to say when it comes to making stories. It becomes closer to a storytelling by committee, which tends to be lifeless to some degree. So I have been trying to figure out kind of who the people are who made this game, because again, I don't have background knowledge of them really, and what they think and what they're trying to say. So when I played Night in the Woods, I knew Scott Benson's feelings about things, because I followed Scott Benson before I knew that Night in the Woods was going to be a thing. So that I mean, he knows a lot more about the subject than I do. Like I said, I've commented like kind of he radicalized me, and it's like I say that tongue in cheek, but it's actually true that a lot of learning that I did is because of things he pointed out or talked about, that I went and learned and read and researched. In the case of this game, I suspect that we're going to see that there are problems on both sides. I don't think that either side is going to be entirely right, but I think there is going to be a side that is more wrong, if that makes sense. And the nuance is interesting, and I think that's really important. Like, unless you're trying to tell a simplistic utopian story, like, you do have to recognize the limitations of human nature. So I don't think that this is going to sit neatly into these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. I think we might have these are the morally gray guys and these are the worst guys, and these are the individuals who are generally good people. That's kind of what I expect we're going to land on, but we'll see. So I am not going to take a political stance here, partly because, well... the capitalist answer is never going to be an answer I want to take. And frankly, their communist philosophy doesn't really work for me, and I have no reason to think that... I have no reason to know that Ocelot leans in one or the other direction. Well, the thing is, there's like a straw man, and then there's trying really hard to make your villains sympathetic, and then there's like a big line between there that like villainous or antagonistic characters can fall on. And I don't think that our antagonists are going to be sympathetic, but I think that they will be human, and I don't think that they'll be straw men. I think that they will be rooted in history and like actual trends, actual people, actual situations, which can be quite horrifying. So to me, the best answer here is 2. It's also the best answer for the situation. Like, not only is it not taking an extreme, it's not taking either of the political extremes, but it's something that can be interpreted. Well, but see, Samovar, that's why I don't play blank slate RPGs, because I don't like them, and I think that that is really unfun. In the case of this game, because of the way the character doesn't have personality, that we are given, but he does have really, really idiosyncratic responses. Like, it's hard to tell how much, like, it's hard to tell what the core him is underneath it, but it does feel like there is a core him underneath it. But I don't know. I don't get me started on BioWare and things like that. I don't enjoy the kind of a thing. But it is really interesting the way that they are doing it in this game. So, like, there's a lot of ways that one could interpret Ocelot, because we don't get a lot of concrete. Like, you kind of have to read between the lines and connect the answers that you can give. And there's a lot of different, they do all kind of feel like they could come from the same person. It's just that it's the same person with different life experiences or different beliefs or different goals. Anyway, I'm going to pick 2 because people who listen to what I say, I say this is the slowest playthrough ever. I am not joking. That's why I put the warning there. So that people can't say they weren't warned. I know that a lot of folks will just be like, this is not what I want. It's totally fine. I totally get it. But if you're here, we will do this. So I'm going to pick 2 because both of these guys can hear me supporting them. Something we can kind of all... We had a mess. Who is we? Who is our mess? What am I saying? Who am I siding with? I mean, completely non-committal. It's a statement. We had a mess. Whatever the mess was, the foreign powers came in. Now they rule us, and this sucks for us. So I'm going to pick 2, because for me that feels like that's the only answer. No. A people pleaser? And I say this as a recovering people pleaser myself. A people pleaser tries to pick the right answer because you're afraid of the consequences. I am being a manipulative little shit trying to get what I want out of people, right? With this answer right here. There's a difference. There's a very big difference. In execution, the answer may look the same in some situations, but the logic behind it, the rationale behind it is different. The end intent is different. We could chrono. This is the only... I don't usually swear on stream, but with this game... Yeah, well, the thing is Machiavelli, but for the sake of trying to do good in the world. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be a manipulator, not a people pleaser. People pleasers do engage in manipulation. But the power dynamic is different. And it comes out of fear. I don't know. If I were trying to be a people pleaser, I would be really torn trying to figure out how to make either one of these guys like me. But instead, I'm trying to take the middle ground so that I can strategically get what I want out of the situation. Yes, gaslighting people into healthier behavior. I don't know, like gaslighting people into healthier behavior, but you can manipulate people into healthier behavior and get them to think that it was their idea. It's very effective. I don't actually think of myself as being Machiavellian, either in this playthrough or in real life. But for better or for worse, I can't turn off my abilities to analyze and read and overthink people. I've tried. It's never going to happen. So I have a couple of options. I can be a people pleaser. I can be a manipulator for whatever I want. Or I can try to find a middle ground there and try to use my powers for good and not evil when possible. Obviously, I misread people and I can make mistakes. I can do things wrong all the time. That's totally fine. But this is kind of how I've decided I have to live my life. Because I can't live being a people pleaser anymore. It led to me destroying a lot of myself for a long time, but I also refuse to be somebody who takes and does what I can because I can. I could not live with myself like that. So I just try to exist, and when the little like spinning orb pops around my head, I pick dialogue options that I think will do the most good. see. All right, so I'm going to pick 2. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess, and now they rule us.
I'm sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains.
The actor did a really good job there, like putting the like not just the inflection, but also the way he breathes at the end here. So 8 years of a civil war.
I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
King Guillaume, huh? Must be a common name. Either that or maybe secretly I'm actually the long-lost prince. Look, Inland Empire, all right? Inland Empire.
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
All right.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio.
It's funny and kind of sad how there's like some like genuine like things did get lost. But then there's like, you know, a little bit of xenophobia, which I can kind of understand in a way because you did get, you know, invaded. But it's just all mishmash where I'm like, you know, I can kind of get where you're coming from on some of this, man, but yeah.
This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with.
You know, I don't think that's the case, sir. But that's all right. You can blame your bad guys for everything. I'm gonna ask about Frisel.
Damn Frisel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
Yeah, because even if we're going to sympathize more, perhaps, with the socialists, revolutions are bloody and awful. Sometimes, even if it's justified to have to fight your way out, and even if the person that you're executing has done terrible things, you can still do terrible things yourself in response. Revolutions are pretty awful. Like, they're just really bloody and terrible. Let's ask about Guillaume. So you mentioned Guillaume. Again, that's carefully phrased, prompting him to keep speaking without revealing the fact that I don't know anything about this.
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frisel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
Did we have multiple kings? Because there's the king we couldn't protect, so he got killed. Okay, but this other king led before Frisel, but he left. They exiled him. Perhaps he was not the worst of the worst, so they exiled him. This other guy was the worst of the worst, so they killed him.
Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him, and he doesn't want to admit it.
I mean, there's a lot of self-deceit in his thinking. That's kind of his thing. Yeah, because here he's saying they drove him into exile, but some of the things that he was saying earlier sounded more like the guy left. So, thank you, drama, for seeing through him. All right. What exactly is a suzerain? Okay, this is going to tell me.
The suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? They forgotten already.
All right. Thank you, game, for answering my question about vocabulary.
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy.
I love this extra analysis of characters. I love it.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and route the cavalry straight into gunfire.
I mean, that is quite an image there. We took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Yeah. He is very sad. It is a sad situation. I like this legendary composure. I have no chance of getting this. What is it about this old soldier that makes him stand so proud? I don't even know what this check is all about. Hello, all hail Mogambo. This is a weight check that can be retried. I mean, we could give it a try. It's not no chance, but maybe how's this? Failing this will let me know kind of what this is all about, because I'm not quite sure what they were doing. Yep, Flopsy. Sorry. I said this is the world's slowest Disco Elysium stream. I'm not kidding. It's alright. I totally get it. It's not everybody's jam, and that's fine. Let's see what happens. Sure, let's try legendary composure difficulty.
As Rene turns from you to his partner and back, the medals on his chest rattle and glare. He keeps his spine straight and his ribcage lifted, displaying them proudly.
That seems highly unlikely to have happened, but we'll chalk that one up to observation more than composure because I have more points in those. How many medals are there? What is going to be the significance that you're reading here, Ocelot?
2. The larger one is shaped like a cross, while the smaller medal resembles the sun.
All right. Gonna look at these two. Look at the cross.
A crowned head in front of 2 crossed rifles. The medal hangs from a blue striped triangle.
So that means the defender of the king directly, I assume. Which, I mean, we can kind of gather that from the way that he describes what he's done. All right.
It's the Croix de Bravoure, Cross of Valor. The cross was the highest battlefield decoration in Suzerain's armed forces, awarded for exceptional bravery in the line of duty, in service of King Frizzle I.
It is interesting that this information is in my brain for Encyclopedia to find it. Okay.
A small blue star inside an orange sun. It has the word Valiance written below.
It's not Valiance, it's Viance, right? If it's spelled that way? Because there's not an I after the L. And I've noticed there've been a few words that people have been saying where they add an I at the end, like to say a word slightly differently. And it's interesting. I don't know.
The setting sun was a decoration used to distinguish seasoned combat veterans in service of King Frizzle I during the Revolution.
No, the writers are Estonian, right? All right. So I'm going to recognize what these are. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. All right. So I'm going to say, okay, I have to say that. So identifying them by name, point to his chest. Did you get them for...
For bravery.
He interjects.
It's a conflicted topic for the old veteran. There must have been a number of controversial episodes in his service days.
Oh, man. Wow. So I can say that's what I was going to say, bravery, or I can suggest it was for killing babies or raping women, or For bravery, question mark. Wow. I don't think there's really anything to be gained from digging into those things. It's interesting for that to be the direction that your brain would go. Possibly because I have been so... Possibly because I have been so fortunate enough to be, like, disconnected from war. I wouldn't go that way. I wouldn't immediately jump to saying something like this. I don't know. So I'm going to ask for bravery, question mark.
For doing my duty in the heat of battle. For looking my mortality in the eye. When men like Gaston here hid in the bushes and shot themselves.
All right, Rene.
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front line in his gown of velvet and gold.
Okay, so he did actually save the prince. I got the impression he did. I don't know what muddy means. I want to hear this story, though.
It was on the first months of the revolution here in Revachol. Unrest was spreading like wildfire. Marauders had taken most of the Couronne and were getting really ambitious.
Did he save the king that he liked better, and then the king ran away afterwards and left Revachol, and that's why he feels so personally betrayed? Because he put himself at risk and maybe did something that he disagreed with having to do in order to save the man, and then the man just ran off and left him, and then there was no more king here. Let's see.
King Frisel thought he could end it all in one decisive strike. Sent his cousin, Drisson, to put an end to the unrest.
No, that's different. Okay. Is this...
Alas, the young Drisson was all piss and no vinegar, wearing a tunic of purple velvet and cockatiel feathers to battle. Even his rifle was gold-plated, shone from 5 clicks away. Can you imagine the asininity?
It's funny for the monarchist to be the one who is criticizing the snobby royal for being a snobby royal.
Purple velvet tunic. That isn't exactly camo.
Thanks, Kim. I'm glad you're here.
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisson marched us against the partisans in Couronne. And when I say marched, I mean made us walk into captured enemy territory, single file, like toy soldiers, while he rode in front on his giant red stallion.
All right. My brain is trying to pull in a bunch of different directions, trying to guess pieces of this, and I don't think there's really any point in me saying them. Like, did he send his cousin out knowing that his... No, that doesn't make sense. I won't do that.
The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was carnage.
Must have been a bloodbath, I suspect is what they mean, not blood path. A typo has gotten past here.
I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound. But just as I turned over, the prince fell into the mud next to me. He was missing his lower jaw. Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee.
He pats his right thigh.
Hang on to the story. Veterans get sentimental after such retellings. This might yield something useful.
Thanks, Volition. All right. All right. Okay, then what did you do? Hi, Raiders. Sorry, we're just continuing to dig through some Disco Elysium quite slowly. All right. Okay, then what did you do?
I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head. Then everything went black.
Capitaine Arnoux, le fléau des chevaux.
Oh man, Vampire Survivors. I have friends who enjoy that. It's not really the kind of game that I play myself, but my friends seem to really love it. So I hope you had fun. The something of the horse. I don't know that word.
The bane of horses.
Thank you, Rhetoric. Rhetoric has always got my back.
When I came to, it was all over. It was just me and Jolas Tresson, gurgling in the blood-soaked mud right next to me. The Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have, that's no Dink, that's a fighter, or I'd give up. Can't imagine living without my jaw, and you touch your jaw. Or you can say, this would never happen to Johnny Lawjaw. My jaw is tight. Or I've been through worse. Oh, amazing. Okay, let's see. Unfortunately, we're not going to pick the clown shoes options here. We will pick some clown shoes options when we talk to the company lady, because Kim asked us to. But yeah, Johnny Lawjaw is very funny. But I am playing a character who is very... I'm playing a character who reads into everything and is equipped to observe people and try to figure out what makes them tick. Because that is the way for me to have the least frustrating experience playing the game. Yes, we do not know for sure if he stole somebody's jacket or if he's actually a cop. I actually feel like it doesn't matter so much what I say. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll go with 2.
He didn't. I hoisted the prick on my back and started crawling. Kept going until the 59th Cavalry picked us up.
Wow. You carried this dying, bleeding man on your back. Crawling. That is something.
Through some miracle, we both survived. And the jealous freak convinced Frissel to give me a medal for not leaving him to die in his own blood. Piece and shit.
It's interesting he saves this man and is so incredibly scornful of him.
He was the commanding officer and I was on duty. Just doing my job. Shouldn't hand out medals for that. 13 months later, I received the Sun for distinguished service. It's not worth mentioning.
Okay, so the story he doesn't want to tell is what got him the Sun. So I'll say thanks for the story, Rene, and conclude this.
Bah! There were many such stories in those days. Many such men, too. True Eversholians. Men with backbone.
Oh my god.
Oh, yes, Rene, yes. Men were bigger, girls were prettier, and everyone wore the fascia. Lord, please, bring those days back, if you can.
Thanks, Gaston. Okay, he's really funny. I like him.
I'm not getting into this with you again. Officer, was there anything else?
Yes, I'm going to ask you some questions. That was interesting.
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
No! Conceptualization? That sounds like that's what I would expect Inland Empire to come up with. Come on. We're not going to do that. Do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard of Whirling in Rags?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely.
And most of the locals?
In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame them?
But you don't have a problem with cops.
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
You are the only person here. Huh.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody would probably tell him anything, and he's definitely not connected to any of the groups that would be involved. I'm not going to ask him about police women. Why would I ask him about police women? Ocelot, why would you ask this man about police women? I was going to say, so again, you don't know anything.
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
There's not really anything. You're not... I don't think you're going to get anywhere trying to argue with this guy. I would feminism at this guy, but this guy is beyond, I think, my ability to get through to him. Would be my guess.
"'Tis true, sire. He knows nothing.
Thanks, drama.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future."
Thanks, Inland Empire. Alright, I'm going to end this conversation with him. Thank you for your time. I'm going to save because I'm frankly very tired. And I'm finding myself feeling very stretched thin and having a hard time focusing on the conversations. So I think that's a good sign that I should probably shut down. Because I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, which is not enough. Thank you all so much for being here. For those of you who joined us for the first time, I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Thank you for sticking around. If you haven't ever seen me stream before, I'm not always quite as slow as I am with this game, but I'm not a fast streamer in any way. If you think this is fun, feel free to join us. We play this game every Thursday. Tuesdays, I'm playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which I was actually finding to be a little too mean-spirited for me, but it has since kind of picked up a bit. So we'll see how that goes. The Discord, unfortunately, the Discord link, we can't link to it. The robot is down. I will need to try to fix that. But you're free to follow the link there. That goes for you too, YouTubers who are watching this. And feel free to drop on by, join our Stream Spoilers channel if you want to talk to folks. Yes, there is actually. I can be found if you look up LaurentheFlute on YouTube. I am there, and I'm LaurentheFlute everywhere. Normally, I have a bot that posts all of the links, but the bot is apparently down, and I was too busy fixing other technical difficulties to get that started before the start of the stream. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. Feel free to join the Discord as well and jump in Stream Spoilers if you want to join in the peanut gallery and yell about this game with folks. I'm gonna go snuggle Sophie Kitty and maybe actually get some sleep tonight. I'm gonna try to get this video posted up tomorrow morning, but I'm gonna have to concatenate all of the videos because of our disconnection. So So my apologies if it takes a little bit longer, but I think I can do that. Yeah, thank you all. Be well, take care of yourselves, and I will see you, some of you, next week. Bye.